Namaste, Namaskar. Welcome to your foundational flow. This will be a very basic Vinyasa style practice with lots of modifications so that you can start to build a foundation and learning how to teach Vinyasa. So eventually when you get comfortable, you can start to add to and take away from to develop your own style, your own sequence. So today is just a basic flow where the whole entire body gets addressed, and we will have the intention within our heart to build a foundation as a new teacher, as well as build a foundation within ourselves so that we can grow and build upon, up and out. So let's get started. Sukhasana, easy pose. Have your feet underneath the knees, bring the feet forwards. So if you were to look down, sort of looks like an inverted triangle space. If that's not okay for you, you can always bring the feet closer in, one foot in front of the other, half or full lotus, and or if you notice the knees are pretty high, hips may be tight, so you can sit at the edge of a block and allow your hips to anterior tilt, find that anterior tilt of the pelvis, so your knees come out and down. So whatever feels the most comfortable for you. Make sure if you are using blocks that have them at the top of your mat, either side. Hands go on top of the knees, palms face down with intention to ground down, so the hands are down, or sitting bones are grounding down. Sit up and lean back so your spine is tall, soft gaze forwards and down, or close your eyes like I'm doing. Up to you. Breathe in. Breathe out. So with the intention in our heart space, so planting that seed of intention in the heart to establish a strong foundation to build upon. Any other seed of intention you like to cultivate, place it there. And then we'll start to switch over to our breath, Ujjayi Pranayama. From this breath work, we're going to keep throughout predominantly the duration of the practice. And as always, if the breath work isn't okay for you, please do not do it. Ujjayi Pranayama, we'll inhale, exhale, hard out. Seal the lips, inhale through the nose, same thing here. Exhale, hard out, keeping your lips sealed. Slight constriction back of the throat, inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. So Ujjayi Pranayama is an audible breath done with the lips together. Should sound like the waves crashing onto the shore. Builds heat by keeping the mouth closed. It also would be the rhythm for your practice and what you focus on. So we aim to match the breath with the movements with the breath. So do your best, maintain this breath as much as possible. Keep your awareness on this breath, regardless of what you're doing physically. Keep that breath, palms together, rubbing back and forth. Take your warm palms on top of your closed eyelids or just hover above the face. Slowly pull the palms away, spread through the fingers, gently blink the eyes open. Roll over your shins and come into tabletop position. I'll turn to my side so you can see me. Wrists right below the shoulders, knees below the hips. Tuck your toes, press down, or if you choose not to, just make sure you press the tops of the feet down. From this position, elongate through the spine. Feel the top of your head moving forwards. Strong tabletop. From tabletop position, moving into Child's Pose Balasana, take your knees out just a little bit wider, bring your big toes to touch, untuck your toes, and then send your hips back. Child's Pose Balasana, hands stay forward. Forehead can come down to the mat. Keeping this Child's Pose a little bit activated, I'm going to keep the elbows lifted. If you need to relax, you put your elbows down. Still listen to your Ujjayi Pranayama. If you need to, you can always put a bolster or blanket underneath your thighs and on top of your calf muscles. Feeling grounded, Press through the palms, lift up from the back of the heart, come to your hands and knees. Once again, wrists below shoulders, knees below hips, tuck toes are untucked, but keep pressing through the feet. Cat-cows here. As you lower the belly, inhale, look forwards or up towards the ceiling. Allow your chest to push slightly forwards, tailbone up towards the sky. Exhale to round, cat pose, bring your chin towards the chest. Look back between your thighs or up towards your belly button. Lower the belly. Inhale, cow face pose. Look forwards or up. Energetically press the hands down and towards your knees towards your hands. Exhale to round and reverse that. Press the palms down and move the hands away from the knees away from the hands. Go one more time. Inhale, look forwards or up. Exhale to round. Come back to neutral tabletop position. Take your hands forward an inch or two or the length of one of your hands, depending on what you need. Toes are tucked here. Lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, we'll bend the knees a lot here so your tailbone points up towards the sky and you pull your hips up and back, elongating the spine. Keep your ears right across from your biceps and look back between your thighs. And then from here, your knees can stay bent or you start to straighten through the legs. Let the heels become a little bit heavier. But find the length of the spine first. It's okay if you keep the knees bent. From downward facing dog, look forwards and lift your heels to inhale to prepare. Exhale to bend your knees, send your hips back. Inhale, walk up into halfway lift. So if you can, your feet come together. Slight space between the heels. Your hands are on the floor, on blocks, or your hands are on your shins. Look very, very gentle here so you're not locking out your knees. So you elongate the spine. Exhale, forward fold. So you have the option to keep the feet together, or you can have your feet inner hip width distance apart for a little bit more stability. From this forward fold, lift up all 10 of your toes, press through the feet, lift up the inner arches of the feet to create this foot lock. Engaging your quads, pelvic floor, lower belly stay engaged. Toes go back down. With that engagement, inhale to rise all the way up. Reach your arms up and overhead, Urdhva Hastasana. Hands can be together, you can look up, or hands can be apart and you can look forwards. Lengthen through the crown of your head, and then take your hands through heart center. Keep elongating the spine, gently press the face back into the head, so your head is right above the heart. Feet are engaged, pelvic floor, lower belly, elongated spine, head floating above the heart. In through the nose, out through the nose. If you'd like to join me for Om, please do. If not, always okay. Inhale for Om. Lips stay together. Inhale through the nose. Out through the nose. Keep that rhythm. Gently open your eyes. Hands stay by your side as you let your shoulders go down and back. Surya Namaskar A, Sun Salutation A. Point your thumbs back. Inhale, arms come up and overhead. Same thing, palms together, look up, or hands apart, you can look forwards. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. I'm going to swan dive by keeping my arms out wide, chest goes down, head comes down last. Inhale, halfway lift. Lengthen the spine again, hands to floors, hands to block, or hands to shins lightly. Exhale, hands come down to the mat, step back, plank position. Make sure that the back of your head stays in line with the sacrum and you push the earth away from you, finding space between the shoulder blades. Heels can press forwards. From plank position, lower your knees down. Inhale to shift forward slightly, and then exhale, lower all the way down to your belly. Keep your hands right by your sides, rather underneath your shoulders. Press your toenails down into the mat. Exhale here. Inhale up to Cobra Pose. You're going to lift your chest up however high your back wants to go. Little weight into the hands. Exhale, chin comes back down. Breathe in. Come through tabletop position, tuck toes, downward facing dog as you exhale. From here, look forwards. Lift up the heels to prepare. Inhale. Exhale, bend the knees. Breathe in, walk up right into your halfway lift. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fourfold Uttanasana. Point your thumbs back. Inhale, rise, Urdhva Hastasana, upward salute. And exhale, hands right by your side, Samasthiti. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, fourfold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands down, step back, plank position. From plank, bring your knees down to the earth. Pitch the shoulders forwards, and on the exhale, lower down halfway, chaturanga. Pause, or you can go to your knees to your belly. From here, inhale, push the chest forwards, come up into upward facing dog or extended cobra. Up dog, your knees and thighs come off the floor. Extended cobra, you keep your knees and thighs down. Micro bend in the elbows, look forwards. Exhale, take it back, downward facing dog. Breathing in and out through the nose here, I'm just counting 5 counts in my head. To prepare, inhale, look forward, lift the heels up. Exhale, bend the knees. Inhale, step up or hop up, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale to rise all the way up. And exhale, hands right by your sides. Samastiti. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, fourfold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha. Exhale, hands down, step back. This time, chaturanga, without the knees down, but you can always put your knees down or go knees to belly, but come down halfway, keep the back of the head in line with the sacrum. Push your chest forwards, inhale to upward facing dog or cobra. You can look at the tip of your nose. Exhale, either bring your knees down, tuck toes, or roll over the toes. Send your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Steady breath. Have your feet parallel. Keep allowing your heart to press back towards the thighs. Preparing, inhale to look forward. Look where you want to go, keep looking there. High on the toes. Exhale, bend the knees. Keep the hips high. Inhale, step or float into halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale to rise all the way up. And exhale, hands right by your sides, Samasthiti. Surya Namaskar B, Sun Salutation B, with variations. Go ahead and bend your knees. Either touch the floor, or you just go in that general direction. Squeeze your knees together if they are touching. Inhale, arms come forwards or up. Same thing with your hands. Palms together, look up, or palms apart, look forwards. If your knees are not touching, you can always take your feet hip-width distance apart, but keep your knees pointing forwards. No need to have your knees past the toes. Make sure that you find your weight into the middle and back of the foot. Breath in. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Lengthen the spine, sternum away from navel. Exhale, take it back. High to low plank. Chaturanga Dandasana on the knees, or go to your knees to your belly. Inhale to back bend. Look at the tip of your nose, press your toenails down. Exhale, take it up and back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, right inner thigh comes up. So we're going to pull from the right inner thigh to keep the hips closed. So my outer hip is facing down. My knee and my right toes are facing down. You can go up really high into the left toes if that serves you. Exhale, draw your knee towards the chest. Keep your hips high. Push the earth away from you and take your right foot closer to your right hand. If it doesn't quite make it there, you can always take your right hand and assist it a little further forward, knee stacked on ankle. Inhale to come up, high crescent lunge. Fingers can be together apart, but just energize the hands. Shoulders down. Back leg, if you can, on the straighter side, and back heel pressing forwards. Left and right hips, same line. Inhale together. Exhale, hands come down to the mat, frame the front foot. Now if you can, push the earth away from you. Quiet transition if possible. Take your right foot straight back. Chaturanga on the knees or knees to belly. Inhale into your back foot, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left inner thigh comes up. So again, so I'm opening up here, keep the hip closed. Keep pressing your heart back. Come up high on those right toes, breath in. Exhale, draw the knee towards the chest. Push, push, push the earth away, and then allow your left foot to come closer to your left thumb. Keep that left hip in line with the right. Inhale to come up. Low crescent, or rather high crescent lunge. Energy through the feet, energy through the hands. So you can bend your back knee to set your hips, and then re-straighten the leg if that's okay for you. Find your focal point, your drishti, somewhere in front of you. Inhale. Exhale, hands come down. Step the left foot back quietly. Chaturanga Dandasana. Variations. Inhale to cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. So from here, we're going to just stay here and flow through both sides instead of coming up and completing this sequence with chair. We'll just stay here and flow breath to movement from down dog, right and left side. We'll do that 2 times. So we set up the first time and we flow the second and the third time. You can always go slower than my cues, but allow your breath and the movements to be completely on point. So they're going to be matched up together. So starting with the right leg. Inhale, right leg comes up. Exhale, knee towards the chest, heel and the toes come down, low lunge, same amount of time. Inhale to rise, high crescent lunge. Exhale, transition down, Chaturanga Dandasana, or variations. Inhale to your back bend. Exhale to your down dog. Inhale, left inner thigh comes up. Exhale, step the left foot forward. Push the earth away from you. Inhale to rise. Exhale to come down. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. In and out through the nose. Heart presses back towards thighs. Awareness of the breath. Good. Preparing. Inhale to look forward. Keep looking there. Exhale, bend the knees. Inhale, rather. Stay here. Just kidding. Totally kidding. Forgot to do one more time. So, one more time. Inhale, right inner thigh comes up. Exhale, step the foot forwards. Inhale, up. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Inhale, left inner thigh. Exhale, step the left foot forwards. Inhale, arms up. Exhale to come down. Inhale to your back bend, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, now to prepare, inhale, look forwards. Exhale, bend the knees. Breathe in, step or flow. Halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees, inhale, rise, chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, stand up straight, Samasthiti. From here, take your feet out, inner hip width distance apart. So your feet are right below your hip points here. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, hinge from the hip creases. Start to forward fold. Padangusthasana. So if you can, you're going to take your peace fingers underneath the big toes. You're going to step on them and then seal the circle with your thumb so your wrists face towards each other. If that's not accessible, you can always take your hands to the backs of your legs. From here, bend the knees as much as your hamstrings need you to, but if you can't keep your legs on the straighter side, just micro bend your knees. Inhale, flat back. Keep that flat back. Exhale, bend your elbows out. Fold, lower belly in and up, shoulders up by the hips. Gently pull up on the toes as the head comes down, oppositional energy. In and out through the nose. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to your waist. Inhale to rise all the way up. And exhale, step your feet together, Samasthiti. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, sit into your chair. Chair pose, Utkatasana. Good, breathe in. Then exhale, take your hands forwards. Breath in. Now, if you can, as you breathe out, slowly lower your bum all the way to the mat without your hands. If you need to use your hands, you always can, but slowly make your way down to the earth. Once you're down here, allow your feet to come forward slightly. Hold on to your shins to lift the chest up. Boat pose, Navasana, grab a hold of your thighs, lean up and back, walk your feet in, lift up the heels. First step, you can keep yourself like so, with the heels lifted and toes down. Finding your balance on your sitting bones, you can start to take your shins up parallel to the earth, or if your hamstrings let you, you can start to straighten through the legs. But don't compromise your upright spine. So if you start to sink back, and just keep the knees bent, that helps you to keep the spine up. So either way, knees straight or bent. Keep holding on, looking forwards, or your hands can go forwards. Keep looking forwards, keep the chest up, in and out through the nose. If you're shaking, good, you have a motorboat. So keep breathing. Good, 5, slowly bend the knees. Cross your right leg in front of the left, roll over the shins, step your legs back or hop back, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Inhale, right inner thigh comes up. Exhale, knee towards the chest, heel and the toe comes down closer to the right thumb. Bend your back heel down so your back foot is parallel to the back of the mat and or your toes are 10% turned in. So up to you. Breathe in, come up to warrior 2. So we're going to open up through arms. Take your stance, however wide your hips wants you to go. So maybe it's wider, or maybe you shorten your stance. Keep the front knee stacked on top of the ankle. Heel to heel or heel to arch alignment with the feet. Sitting bones are parallel, so one's not higher than the other. Shoulders above the hips. Take your arms out, wrists right across from the shoulders. And then last thing to do is look forwards over the front fingertips. Keep that knee bent. Avoid having the knee start to collapse in, and then externally rotate this front thigh so your knee points forward 12 o'clock. Virabhadrasana B, warrior 2. From here, we'll inhale to reach forward, extended side angle, Parsvakonasana. So if you can, your hand goes to the outside of the front foot. Palm flat, fingertips, or hand on the block. I'm gonna press the knee into the arm back into the knee gently. You can flip your palm, reach up and over, or take your hand down, forwards, and around, and then pull the shoulder back. So you're allowing your left ribs to go back from here. You can look down, you can look at your hand or to the side. If reaching to the outside of your foot isn't accessible, you can always bring it to the inside And or to modify, you can always bring your forearm gently on top of the thigh and then keep rotating the chest. Take your arm overhead so you have that streamline of energy from your back foot all the way through your left fingertips. Again, gaze down to the side or up at the hand to strengthen the neck. So any of those variations. Keep your lower body exactly as it is. Inhale to come up and reverse your warrior. So left hand can go down the thigh, right palm faces up, up and over, and find space to the ribs. Some people like to half bind here, so you can put your hand behind the back if that feels better for your shoulder. But keep the knee right on top of the ankle and find space between your ribs. So instead of back bending, you're side bending. Again, gaze where you like. Good, inhale. Exhale, hands come down, float the foot back, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing, dog, look at the tip of your nose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Opposite side, breathe in, left inner thigh comes up. Exhale, knee towards the chest, heel and the toes come down closer to the left thumb. Spin your back heel down. Again, foot is parallel or your toes are slightly turned in. Heel to heel or heel to arch. Inhale to come up to Virabhadrasana B. So again, finding heel to heel or heel to arch. Knee stacked on top of the ankle. Knee pointing forwards, not in. Left and right sitting bone in the same line. Shoulders over the hips. Arms come out, wrists right across from the shoulders. And the last thing to do is look over the fingertips. Warrior two. Go from warrior two, extended side angle, Parsvakonasana. Inhale to reach forwards, and then exhale, hand to the outside, inside, or forearm gently on top of the thigh. Again, you can flip your palm, reach over, or allow your arm to swing down, forwards, but make sure you rotate the chest. Right ribs back, left ribs forwards. Gaze down to the side or up at your right thumb. Keep your lower body as is. Inhale, come up and reverse your warrior. Hand down the leg or half bind. Left palm reaches up and back. Keep pressing through both feet. Gaze down or up. Side body stretch. Open up through your gills. Breath in. Exhale, hands come down. Left foot goes back. Chaturanga or variations. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. So Mark Steven calls that the warrior dance. So we're going to do that breath to movement. Go slower if you need to, as long as you're moving your body with the breath. So starting with your right leg. Inhale, right inner thigh comes up. Exhale, knee, chest, heel, toe, low lunge. Back heel down. Inhale up to warrior two. Exhale, extended side angle. I'm showing you the modified version. Inhale to reverse. Exhale to come down. Four limb staff pose. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Inhale, left inner thigh. Exhale, step the left foot forwards. Back heel down. Inhale to rise, Virabhadrasana B. Exhale, Parsvakonasana. Inhale to reverse. Exhale to come down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. One more time to flow. Inhale, right leg. Exhale, step forwards. Back heel down. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale to reverse your warrior. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Inhale, left inner thigh. Exhale, step your left foot forwards, back heel down. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale to reverse. Exhale to come down. Breathe in, upward facing dog. Breathe out, downward facing dog. Good, from down dog, inhale, right inner thigh comes up. Exhale, knee towards the chest, heel and toes come down closer to the thumb, right thumb. Spin your back heel down, inhale up to Virabhasana B, warrior two. Good. From warrior two, straighten through the front leg. You can shorten the stance if you need to, and your back toes can turn slightly in. Setting yourselves up for Utthita Trikonasana triangle pose. Glide the hips back, reach up and forwards, up and forwards, up and forwards. When you can't reach any further, stack your shoulders, left shoulder on top of the right. So you can grab onto your ankle, your shin, or higher up your shin. You can also use a block inside, or if you can, to the outside of the front leg. Make sure that you have a micro bend in that knee so you're not locking out or overextending. From here, your left wrist is over your left shoulder. Once again, depending on your neck, you can look down to the side or look up to strengthen the neck. Keep reaching through the crown of your head. As you exhale, look down to the earth. Inhale to come up, keep your arms out wide. Pivot your right toes towards the left till your feet become parallel. My palms are facing down, or your toes are slightly turned inwards, just not out. Make sure your toes are pointing forwards or in. Parsvarita Padottanasana. A, inhale, lift up through the spine. Exhale, hinge from your hips and let your wrists come right below your shoulders. So once again, if for any reason you don't make it down there, you can always put your hands on blocks if that helps you. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, either stay here or you walk your hands back so the heels of the palms are parallel to the heels of the feet. You bend your elbows so your elbow is right on top of the wrist, so it looks like Chaturanga arms, and the crown of the head comes down. You can take your stance wider, so if your head's touching the floor, then you take your stance a little bit shorter. Give yourself space to grow. I'm pressing my palms down and back energetically. Keep engaging your legs and keep a tiny bend in the knees if your legs are locked up, or generous bend if you need it. Smooth, steady, spacious breath, shoulders up by the hips, crown the head towards the earth. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to your waist. Inhale to come up. Exhale, step to the top of the mat. Samasthiti. Inhale, arms circle up. Exhale, dive forwards, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back, spring back, float back. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing. And exhale, downward facing. Inhale, left inner thigh floats up. Doesn't have to be very high. Exhale, knee towards the chest. Heel and the toes come down. Back heel down. Inhale up to warrior two. Exhale to stay here. Okay, preparing for Utthita Trikonasana. You can shorten your stance. Back toes can turn in slightly. Straighten through the front leg. Inhale, hips glide back, reach up and forwards. Exhale, stack your shoulders when you can't reach any further. Right shoulder on top of the left. Keep lengthening through the crown of the head. And then if this wall was right behind me, I'd press my shoulder blades back into that wall. So I'm not coming in at an angle. I'm pressing back. You can look up at your top hand if you like. Micro bend the left knee. Engage the legs. Exhale to look down. Engage your back right glute. Inhale to come up. Turn your left toes towards the right. Exhale, hands behind the back. Interlace the fingers and then bend your elbows a lot, or keep your arms on the straighter side. Inhale to lift up, Prasarita Padottanasana C. Exhale to forward fold. So keep the feet parallel. You keep your hands in your back, or you can start to expand and have your elbows go straighter. I'll turn to the side so you can see that. So you can expand, expand, expand. Doesn't matter if your fingers touch the floor or not. Not important. But just try to keep your wrist on the straight side. So instead of breaking here at the wrist, it's a little bit more activated and intense if you have your wrist straight. You can always bend the elbows. If you have a shirt, you can always use that or a strap to get your palms wider to help you if you have tighter shoulders. From Prasarita C, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale here. Inhale to come up. Exhale, step to the top of the mat. Samarthiti. Good. From here, standing balance. Have your feet hip width distance apart. We're going to shift the weight into the left foot. Tree pose. Foot engagement, pelvic floor, lower belly engagement, tall spine. I'll turn this way so you can see. From here, we're going to bring the right knee up. You can hold onto the shin or the knee. You can also use your biceps if you want to. Start to find more flexion in that hip. Up to you, here or here. Take your left hand, glue to your left hip, then take your knee out to the right. So no need to force it, just however far it goes. Your hand can glide down to the ankle and you place the foot into the upper thigh, press the thigh into the foot back into the thigh. If that's not there for you, you can always put your foot to the shin, or toes can be on the floor and your foot can be on your ankle. Just avoid the knee, so anywhere above or below the knee. Find what works best for you. Engage the core, engage the pelvic floor and lower belly. Palms together for stability. And notice if your hip is jutting out, push the hip back in towards the midline. Hold your hands here. Options for your tree pose, you can grow your tree, your branches, you can look up, you can close your eyes. You can fall out of it. Good. Inhale, knee comes back to center. Exhale, slowly release. Transfer the weight into the right foot. Pelvic floor, lower belly still engaged. Inhale, left knee comes up. Keep your knee here or use your bicep strength to bring your knee closer towards you. Take your right hand to the right hip, open up to the left. Sole of the foot can go to your upper thigh, to your shin or foot to the floor. You can also put your foot on the block too, your left foot if it's on the floor. Notice this right hip, push it back towards midline, palms down the plumb line, down the center. Find that stability, relax the shoulders, don't hold the breath. Stay here or grow your branches. Look up, maybe close your eyes. Or maybe fall out. Maybe scooch across your carpet. From here, inhale, knee comes forwards. Exhale, slowly release. Second standing balance pose. Moving into Garudasana, eagle pose. Transfer the weight into the left foot. Inhale, right knee comes up nice and high. Exhale to cross over, place your foot down. Again, on the block. It can be hovering, pinky toe comes in, or you wrap behind the leg. But notice what happens to your hip. Your right hip might want to go forward, so you gently hug the right hip back. So whatever option works best for you. Bend into that left knee, so you're sitting into a higher chair. And then your back can be pressing into the wall behind you. So have your hips squared, knees pointing forwards, knees right across from the navel. Take your arms out, breath in. Exhale, right arm underneath the left. Find eagle arms, so either hands come to the shoulders, backs or front of the palms touch. Pull the elbows forward so you find separation through the shoulder blades. Have your thumbs point to your forehead or above the head, but just not off to the side. Right hip back in line with left. Sit into your chair. Pull the elbows forwards. Steady concentration. Good. Inhale, right knee comes up. Exhale, slowly release. So from here, transfer weight to the other foot. Inhale, left knee comes up. The higher, the easier it is to get your leg up and over. and then cross bend into the right knee. So foot on the block or the floor. If it's dangling, key toe comes closer, or wrap behind the leg. But again, notice your hip, draw the left hip back in line with the right. Take your arms out, breath in. Exhale, left arm underneath the right. Find your variation. Pull the elbows forward and slightly up. Bend into that right knee. Keep your spine upright. Concentrate. Elbows, navel, knees. Straight line. Good. Inhale, left knee comes up. Exhale, slowly release. Okay, so you're at the top of your mat. Point your thumbs back. Inhale, arms up and over. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Now from here, this halfway lift, you're going to toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel. Your feet to the edges of your mat. You can have your feet wide, heels turn in, toes point out. From here, you're going to find what's the best distance for you to squat your hips down. Modern Malasana. You can always sit on a block if that helps you. So I'll turn this way so you can see. So I'm modifying sitting on a block. You can use your elbows to open up through the hip space. This is a great posture to help open up through the hips, to stay low and grounded because your sitting bones are closer to the earth. And you allow yourself to open up through the hip space using your elbows if you like. If you need more space, you can always fist bump. You don't like that flexion in your wrist, fist bump, and that will take your knees out wider. Okay, and this is a good place to stay and ground down and to especially open up through the hips. Also helps with stress. So if you want to stay here, stay here. Otherwise, Bakasana, aka crane pose, aka crow pose. So Bakasana, you're going to start by placing your hands down onto the mat in front of you, lifting up the hips and pointing your toes forwards. I'll turn to the side so you can see. From here, I'm gonna bring my hands closer towards the feet, just leave some space. Bend the elbows and then come up onto the tippy toes. Elbows are bent so my knees will fit right into my underarm here. Now, some people can't get it up there quite yet, that's okay, just press it into the tricep, or some people go to the outside of the arm and squeeze in and up. Whatever works for you. Keep the palms rooted down, no space between your hands and the earth. From here, look forward, so big ordeal. Big ordeal. Head goes down, you go down. So look forward, lift up the heels, place your knees into the underarms. Look forward, lean forwards. As you keep looking forward and leaning forwards, one foot may come up, you feel what that feels like, put it down and play around with the other foot. Eventually, maybe both feet come up. If you can, then you straighten your elbows. Good, slowly take it back down, squat down, hands together. Malasana. Good, from this position, gently take your bottom down, or you can use your hands to get there. Bring your legs forwards, extend through the legs, sit up nice and tall. Dandasana, just for a moment. Legs are straight, spine is straight. Flexion the ankles, have your toes come back towards you. Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. Inhale, lengthen up through the spine. And then exhale, keeping your legs on the straighter side. Come forwards, maybe you grab for your toes, your ankles, your shins, whatever is accessible. But notice if you're rounding here. So rather than rounding, keep your spine upright. So maybe you have to stay upright and just bend the elbows, but keep the back flatter. Or if you need to, the knees can be slightly bent. But if you do have something you're holding on to, you gently pull back so your head goes forwards. And if your face is hovering, if you happen to be down here where your face is hovering right above the shins, then you can bring your face down. Otherwise, keep working on lifting up, going down, forwards, up, forwards and down, up, forwards and down. That's the direction you're going to move towards. Press down through the legs. Inhale, lift up. Exhale to release your hands. Have your hands go behind you. About 8 to 12 inches depending. From here, we're going to bring the shoulder blades together. We're going to open up through the chest. Allow your chest to open. You can stay like this. This is your first step. Modification, bend the knees, or we keep the legs straight. So we'll do, again, either reverse tabletop or this reverse plank position. Have your toes pointed if you're keeping the legs straight. Uttanasana, exhale here. Inhale, lift the hips up. Again, modification. Knees are bent, so knees, hips, and shoulders in the same line. You look like a table. Keep looking forwards, up. Whatever feels best for your neck. Keep the heart open. And then slowly come back down. Have the legs come out in front of you. Nice and tall. Allow the right toes to drop off to the right side. I try not to use the hands to make the body smarter, so bring the right foot into the upper thigh like you did in your tree pose. Janu Shirsasana. So your knee will come slightly in, and that's okay. Press the foot into the thigh. Janu, knee, Shirsasana, Shirsa, head to knee pose, or knee to head pose. Flexion in the left ankle, so you can see my leg is not sleepy, it's nice and active. I'm pressing the heel forwards, and the toes come back at me. Lift up through the spine, pivot your sternum towards your left shin. Breath in. Exhale, same thing like your forward fold. You're going to forward fold. Maybe you come down and you just stop however far you need to, but notice your left or right shoulder. I'm going to turn for you. If you can reach for your wrist right in front of the foot, grab for the ankle, shin, or thigh. But notice my shoulders, one is not higher than the other. I'm not doing that situation. My shoulders are more or less in the same line, and I bring my chin forwards. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, slowly release. So again, without hands, I'm going to turn back here. So I'm going to let my left toes drop out. Pull the foot in. Wiggle around if you need to. Press the foot into the thigh. Flexion the right ankle. Lift up, pivot. Exhale. Janu Shirsasana, head to knee pose. Other side. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, go forwards. Inhale, look up. Exhale, gently release. Good, left foot goes forwards. We'll bend both knees. Take your feet out beyond the width of your hips, so to the edges of the mat. We're gonna lift up our bottom, take it forwards so that our spine's upright. Now from this upright position, just straighten through the legs. Straighten here. Turn so you can see. Upavishna Konasana, wide-legged forward fold. So notice the flexion and my toes coming at my shins. Notice too, if you're rounding through the spine and sinking back, you can always sit on the block. Same thing at the edge of it to put you up a little bit higher. Take your hands to your thighs. I point my fingers back behind me. Press the palms down into the thighs, roll them back so that my chest is tall and that my hips are stable. Inhale to lift up. Now from here, exhale, lean forwards. So there's a couple of things you can do here. To modify, you can take your hands forwards in front of you. You can walk your hands forward or just bend your elbows to take your chest forwards. If you're okay from this position, you can take your hands down your legs, grabbing for your ankles or your big toes. And again, let the chest go forwards and down. I'm lengthening. Again, I'm not rounding. I'm putting the chest forwards and down. Now, if you're someone who's super flat on the floor, then I encourage you to lift up so that there's at least an inch from your chest to the earth. So you're utilizing your strength here. So whatever is there for you, hands in front of you, hands on the legs, ankles, toes, feet. But keep tilting the pelvis forwards. Lengthening the chin towards the top of your mat. Press down to the bottoms of the knees. Inhale to come up. Exhale, hands right below the knees. Lean back, bend the knees. Take the soles of the feet together. Let your knees go out wide. Same thing, hands behind the back. I'm just going to lift up my hips and take them slightly forwards. But keep a space here. Two different options. You can keep this diamond shape. So you're going to have a wider space between your heels and your glutes or your groin, or you're going to shorten the space. So these are two different things. But for today, I'm going to have you keep that diamond shape here. If you can, you flip your feet skyward so that the pinky toes come together, knees go out and down. Hold on to the feet if you can. It's okay if your feet don't want to do that yet, but over time, try to see if you can flip your feet skywards. Inhale to lift up. Exhale. There will be a bit of a rounding here, bringing your head closer towards your feet. Or just move in that general direction. Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. Inhale, slowly come up. Exhale, slowly release. Take your legs out in front of you. You can use your hands or use your center strength to slowly come down to the earth. From this position, we're going to bend the knees, have your feet hip width distance apart. Bridge pose, Bandha Sarvangasana. Find your robot arms, have the palms face towards each other, ankles right below the knees, and then point your tailbone towards your heel so your low back gets flat. Exhale here. Inhale, press to the feet. Mild engagement in the glutes, more engagement into the thighs, and lift up the hips. Interlace the fingers. You can start to walk your shoulders closer together. Keep pressing through the triceps and don't move your head. Keep your head where it is and bring your sternum closer towards your chin. Again, mild engagement in the glutes. Keep pressing through the feet, lifting the hips up. Good. From here, release your hands. You can take your arms up and overhead, lift up the heels, point your tailbone towards the backs of the knees. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, slowly roll, inch by inch down. As soon as your heels come down, take the soles of the feet to touch, knees go out wide. Reach up and over, grab for opposite elbows. Supta Baddha Konasana. Supta, reclining Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. From this position, exhale, release your hands. Inhale, legs come together and up. Legs up your invisible wall, or if you were right near a wall like me, you can literally put your legs up the wall there. But we're moving into shoulder stand. So if shoulder stand is not for you, you can stay here. Some people start to take variations with the legs or put that block underneath the sacrum so that their hips are elevated. Otherwise, Salamba Sarvangasana, shoulder stand. So shoulder stand, you want to not move the head. You'll press through the palms, lift the hips up, walk your hands up. Should I move my head? Walk your hands up. Bring your elbows closer together. Lower belly in and up. Reach through the toes. Big toes touching. You can see your belly button, perhaps. Get vertical. And then slowly exhale, bring your toes above your head. Halasana, plow pose. Point your toes away from the head, interlace the fingers, press to the triceps. If your feet are hovering, just keep your hands on your back so you can support the stretch. Good. From here, Karna Pindasana, bend your knees. Take your knees around your ears. Big toes still touching. And then hands to the back for support or hands on the floor. Slowly lower the back down. Knees bent or straight legs. Slowly lower the legs down. It's more core work, keeping the legs straight. And once they come down, lie flat on the floor. Matsya Drasana, fish pose is next. So you can always come up to your elbows. Bring your elbows right below the shoulders and then lift up the chest. This is a great modification. If you can take the back bend, then what I like to do is I take my palms face down, slide it underneath the right glute, slide it underneath the left glute, press through the elbows. Make sure they walk closer together. My thumbs are touching, elbows are closer together. If you needed to stay here, you can. Otherwise, you press through the elbows, lift up through the heart, press the elbows down, heart lifts up, top of the head reaches for the mat. So you're in this back bend. It counters your Shoulder stand to Halasana pose. Keep breathing here. Press to the elbows if you're in the back bend. Lift up the chest, slowly roll back down, or if you're lifted onto your elbows, slowly come down. Take your hands out from underneath your glutes. Mindfully bring your knees closer together. Apanasana, so you're going to press your knees in towards you, but the low back stays on the mat. Some people like to rock back and forth or make circles, that's fine too. But we'll keep the right knee bent, straighten through the left leg. So we're going to find our supine twist. From here, you can, this is what I like to do. I take my foot down, lift up the hips, bump them over to the right a couple inches, and then travel this right knee over to the left. Some people will start from where they were, twist, and then readjust the hips. But I feel it's nicer to lift up the hips, bump them to the right, knee comes in, twist to the left, just so your hips are stacked, left and right hip, so one's not at an angle. From here, you can have your arms come out wide, cactus arms. You can look up or look over to your right hand. Inhale back through center. Exhale to release. I'm adjusting my hips. And then I'll bend the left knee. Press with that left foot, lift the hips up, bump them 2 inches or an inch over to the left. Bring the left knee in. Breathe in, find that compression, and then slowly rotate over. So once again, your hips are stacked. So if you're not stacked, just scoot your bum, scoot your hips. Arm can come out wide if you want, look up, or look over towards your left hand. If you can, keep the shoulders down. If you need to, you can always put a block underneath your knee or thigh for support. Breath in. And exhale, slowly come back to center. Bend both knees here. Low back flat on the mat. Bring your knees in. Open them up wide. Feet up towards the sky, flexion in the ankles, like you're having a seat. But then knees are out to the outside edges of your torso, happy baby. So you're making sort of this 90 or close to 90 degree angle. If you can, you grab for the outer edges of your feet. You press down, the feet press back up. Or grab for your ankles, or grab for the backs of your thighs here. From here, you can rock, you can straighten the legs, whatever is interesting for you. But happy baby, Ananda Balasana. Good. From here, slowly gather the knees together, squeeze in, breath in, and then slowly release. Extend the legs forwards. Feet can splay out, hands can come out, palms face up. Close your eyes. Shavasana, corpse pose. So, embodying a corpse. Allow yourself to be still like a corpse, but more importantly, let the mind find just moments of stillness, if not longer. Let go of Ujjayi Pranayama. Sink your body into the earth. Relax from the toes. Find relaxation up through the feet, ankles, legs, hips, belly, torso, down the shoulders, the arms, the fingertips. Soften the throat, every muscle in the face, all the way up to the tip and crown of your head. Natural breath. Shavasana. So you'll be here in Shavasana for about 5 minutes. But when you're ready to awake, you can keep your eyes closed. And then slowly, since you're ending a cycle with death, and then ending it that way, and then initiating the new cycle, life, You're going to slowly start to take movements in the fingers and the toes, deepening the breath to come back into the body. Circles, ankle circles, wrist circles. Stretch. You'll gently bring the knees back towards the chest. Give yourself a little hug. Roll over to your side if you want fetal position. Just feel the earth support you from below, and then press through the palm. Lift yourself up. If your eyes are closed, you can keep them closed. Sitting in Sukhasana, easy pose, just like we began. Opposite leg in front, so perhaps left leg in front of right. Knees and hands find that connection, but this time instead of having the palms down, you can flip your palms up. Relax the shoulders, elevate through the spine. With your natural breath, bring the palms together. Coming back to your intention to build a strong foundation as a teacher with this sequence, and also a strong foundation within yourself that you can build upon your yoga practice to go deep within yourself, to grow up and out, finding expansion on all levels. Breath in, breath out. Inhale for Om. Inhale. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I bow to you. Thank you very kindly.